Okay, guys, let's look at the second problem of this lesson called interest and depreciation. It says money in a particular saved amount increases by about 6% after a year. How much money will be in the account after 1 year if the initial amount is $100, $50, $200, $125, X dollars? If you get stuck, consider using diagrams or a table to organize your work. Okay, so we need to do some quick lesson annotations, which is it increases by 6% after a year. And then this is 1 year and it wants us to do these amounts. Okay. So we need to understand that this is a percent increase problem. So I'm going to write that right here. This is a percent increase. All right. So after 1 year, it was increased by 6%. Now remember, the original amount to anything is 100%. So we're going to be actually adding that 6% to 100% in order to get a total of 106%. Now, just like what I told you guys in a previous lesson, percents represent a portion of something. Okay? So if we're trying to actually do math work with the percent, we need to convert it into a decimal, which we'll be putting that percent over 100, which will be 106 divided by 100, and that would give me 1 6/100. Okay? So, just like what we talked about are the common strategy in every lesson, we're going to multiply the decimal value times each amount that's given to us, which will be 100, 50, 200, 125, and X dollars, because we don't know that amount. Okay, so the first one was part of our bell ringer, 106 100ths. The 1 6/100 times 100 is equal to 106. So if 6% is 6 to 100, what would 6% be for 50? Okay, now this is a fluency practice, so I'm going to kind of be doing a fluency practice with you guys. I'll write that to the side. 6% of 100 is 6. So what would 6% of 50 be? If you guess 3, you are absolutely correct, because 50 is half of 100, therefore that's 6. 3 is half of 6, which means 6% to 50 is 3, which this would give me 53. So if 6% of 100 is 6, then what would be 200%? If you guess 12, you are absolutely correct. So your answer should be 212. Okay. So let me challenge you guys this, okay? Let me challenge you guys, all right? So the new number is 125. Well, we know that 6% of 100 is 6, correct? Now we have 125. Now 25, if we separate that, that's half of 50, which half of 3 would give me 1.5. So which means that, I'm going to go back up, which means that if we have to do 125 and I add that to 6, it would give me 7.5 or 7.5. So get this straight. What I did was I took this 6 because it's 100, right? 125 is, you could take a 100 out there. So that's 6. And then 25 is half of 50, and 50 is 3, so half of 3 is 1.5. I added my two outcomes and I got 7.5, which means that this will be 7.5 plus 125, which will be 100. And I just want to make sure my number is correct. Go back. It'll be 132.50. And what I did, I added 125 plus 7.5, or 7 5/10. Okay. So then for this one, this means that regardless of what amount is given to us, what are we multiplying it by? And it should be 1 6/100 times x. And that should be our final answer. And that means that at any given amount that's given to us, we're going to substitute that value out and multiply it times 100. 106/100. Okay? Or 1 6/100. I'm sorry about that. All right? So let's move to the next problem, which is called it's not called anything, but it's the value of a car decreases by 15% in the first year. How much would the car be worth after 1 year of its initial value of $1,000, $5,000, $5,000, $20 X dollars? If you get stuck, consider using a tape diagram and so on. Okay? So we're dealing with a decrease instead this time. Now, if it was a percent increase, we'll be adding that extra or that given percent. But this case, we're actually subtracting. So we need to subtract 100 minus 15, which would give me 85%. Okay. So I need to convert 85% into a decimal. And to do that, I'm putting it over 100, and it's going to be 0.85. All right. Now, given as any value, we're going to multiply 0.85 times these values that was given to us, which is 1,000, 0.85 times 5,000. 0.85 times 5,000, 20 times X dollars. Okay, so when I multiply 0.85 times 1,000, okay, I would get 850. All right. Now, if you wanted me to show you on the side, I could, but if you guys have a calculator at home, I'm totally fine with you using that. But if you understand whenever you multiply 1,000 times or numbers of zeros, not numbers of zeros, of 1,000 times 85, it's almost like it has those extra zeros, then the decimal and so on. It would be 850, okay? So then if you want to, if you could say, okay, now this is just a little bit of fluency practice. We're not going to do this too much, but if you want to, you could say, well, if this is 1,000, right? I could multiply my answer times 5 to figure out what's 5,000. So I could multiply 850 times 5, and it should give me 4,250. Okay. If you didn't know how I got that, you could also just solve the expression on this side, and it would have gave you the same answer. All right. Now, of course, I'm using a calculator just to kind of like go through this quickly. But guys, if you wanted to, you could just do this regular, like multiply like regular, but I'm just doing this so this video don't be 30 minutes and so on. So the next one, I'm going to multiply 5,020, and I should get 4,267. Now, just like what I mentioned in the last problem, all right, the reason why there's an X is this this means that at any given amount of the car, or the value of the car, what are we going to multiply it by? If you guess X, that is totally fine. So it's going to be 8,500 X. And that means that if there's a $20,000 car that pops up, guess what? We're going to multiply it by 8,500. If there's a $5 car, we're going to multiply it by 8,500. Okay? So if you have any issues with this question, make sure you visit your manager's Google Meet session. All right, guys? So I'll see you guys in question 3.